All right, here we go again. So this just shows you what happens. This doesn't happen without them stalking and cursing. Right? And don't let them tell you they cursed me because you'll get somebody later and say, well, I wouldn't curse you unless you were cursing us. I'm only cursing the people that are cursing me. And you're all not only cursing the people that are cursing you. Right? There's no such restriction on what you're all doing. So it's all bullshit what they say. However, this stuff doesn't happen with what I'm about to explain. So I get online, I look for my bank branches. There's supposedly a bank branch at the mall. I go to Ross Park Mall, it's not open yet. I don't believe I missed anything in the app. Could have possibly, but again, even that is them. Right? That's why they stalk people. That's why they say they have to watch them so they can curse them and cause that stuff in their life. Right? I hadn't had, at first I didn't have any plans to use any of my banks as far as going up to the teller window because I was going to move to Altoona. So I had a plan, but that plan was derailed because I thought I found a bank branch. Right. And you can't open I couldn't open a local branch until I get my license. Right. Which I may have sped that up had this not materialized. Right. They know it. That's why they stay there to do that to the person. They're all sick. They waste the watch list and all that. Right. Because you'll find they don't even look at people that commit the crimes. Right. So one of my banks allows you to set the limit for the day. That'd probably be the one that I use. Right. The other one's like super secret. You actually can't even reset your PIN. You actually have to wait for them to send the PIN. Now I could probably do something online to transfer my money somewhere to access it somehow. Right. But I'll take a look, see what the best option is. As they always try to put, oh, if you weren't you, we wouldn't be doing. That's bullshit. They go, well, me, I'm a later entry into this thing. No, you're the same person as the first person that did it. You're Satan, and they were Satan. That's how it works. There's no other options. Right. I mean, this is the reason the country's destroyed. They think it's funny. Well, I'm getting a little short with the Trumpoos making a mess. It's not going to work the way they think it works. What they say is, oh, they're pushing the talking point that it's Democratic Party radicalization, knowing that there's Republicans somewhere radicalizing these people. Right. I thought you had a cop at the mall with a dog, but he's like a mall cop. It's got like an Illinois license plate, Illinois, whatever it is. They got somebody pulled over here. Right. All right, what you want to do is remove this concept of ruling. You don't need it. God can rule. What you're doing is you're trumping. I guess that's a bad word, but you're overruling God's rule. And you had two cops on the side, and then a fire truck came from the other direction. Right. So that sign that maybe you're metaphysically trying to rule. Right. Doesn't mean I didn't feel like you were ruling me. It just looked like you were trying to rule. Don't do that. Well, this is how it works. You need demons to do that, and you don't control the demons. So if you bring demons to like attack me, they might have a shooting at the mall, right? Because you don't control the demons, and that's what you're doing. You're not bringing angels just because you go to some church somewhere, right? So you want to, and a lot of departments don't know that they're being used like that, right? So you got a spell on you to look like you're ruling people. Right? No, you might be actually ruling somebody to be gay, or ruling somebody to commit a crime, or ruling somebody not to speak out about a narcotics distributor, right? Or ruling a woman to have sex with somebody, maybe an officer, right? Or a man. Even. We've seen a lot of aggressive female police officers, including in the NYPD. And one stands out. She did some nasty stuff to a man. She didn't have sex with him, but she definitely tried to dominate psychosexually. Right. I'll figure it out. I got till next Friday. Worst comes to worst, I drive to Ohio. It's like right over the border. I think it's like 40 miles. Right. Looked like it was just like right over the border. That's probably why they put it there. Two pretty big banks. I'm surprised. I know Altoona, and they're opening a branch here at the mall, but it's going to be a nice branch, but it was supposedly already opened. Now, I have ATMs that are partner ATMs with my bank, and I can probably do everything I need to do there. I just need to make sure I can get to my money in those places. Again, I'd probably transfer money somewhere to have it accessible. Yeah, I have a third bank I think might have a branch here. I think in Pittsburgh. No, they're not millionaire banks or anything like that. Just a good way to get a couple extra $100 for opening an account. My grandmother had money, and she used to she used to do it for they used to have the S&H green stamps, and then they used to also have they give you a blender or something if you opened an account. So you get a free blender. I can't open an account here, which I would have already done if I had a license from here. So moving around within a state's not as difficult, right? But that comes from their purse. I'm sure the people I'm renting from are receiving in their mind that I'm not going to pay, but I'm sure they've received it before, right? So it's part of it. No, it fulfills kind of the blip I received when I was moving. I was thinking if I could get a newer place, it's brand new. So, Pennsylvania took care of the issue. I mean, again, I'm paying rent. It's like a gift, but right. Theoretically, I save $100 because it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a shed, and I usually pay $100 for everywhere I've lived. I paid $100 either for the garage at the place or for a storage place, 100 or more. Right. So, I really got a good deal. I suspect next year they'll increase my rent by $100, but she says it's only 19. But they gave me a discount, so I'm sure it'll. Hey, look, Roderick Street. Let's see if he's look up Roderick. Is he in Wiki or anything? Let me see if I can do this without blinking out this thing. I want another window open. Oh, I gotta drive again. He's a deputy marshal. Was one of those.
earlier fugitive guys that, when Marshall started expanding, or fugitive became our middle name. Then everybody else took off. And then also it was back when they would instant. They actually just did an instant from Mexico, I think. They just throw them across the border, and like the deputy calls them, they find them, they throw them across the border, and the deputy's there to grab them when they put them back in the United States. That was our thing. A guy named Perez, I think, came up with that one. Impromptu deportation. Like instead of what was that one? Caitlin Clark, I guess was her name. Instead of I have to go this way. It, never, Caitlin Clark, the one yoga woman that killed the bike rider, she's jealous or whatever. Right? The deputies went down there and they looked for her. In those type of things, they kind of maybe locate online or get a tip they're in Mexico, get a general area, they call it federales. The federales find the person, call them back, said we found them, we'll go get them, we're going to meet you, whatever, bridge crossing or crossing, border crossing, and then they bring them across the border. Yeah. First thing you ever reckon. Yeah, they not the press I work with, but the older. Science by tomorrow. That's nice. No, I don't. Again, the Yeshua Ben David, guy you call Jesus, he wants you to know that him and the disciples have nothing against people that are healing based upon signs, doing good things based on signs. He's speaking about people that the whole life is the sign. What is the sign? That there's no outside of sign. So just seek a sign to figure out healing is something completely different. Yeah, I healed the guy. Oh, yeah. Play with the cop, but I still would heal. So I got a canine at the mall. I did that for a little while in private. But it wasn't canine. It was I did it for a couple of things. Just because there was a friend at the dog training club asked me to bring my dog and do security. They didn't pay me. It was his dad had apartment complex. It was like that. It's like that in the Northeast United States. The other guy didn't pay. What was that big name guy in Philly that was rehabbing places? He didn't pay either. The contractors. I don't remember his name. But he didn't pay me. I think he paid me for 1 week and then paid me for the second week. And I was unemployed at the time. Just told me to go. So let's go back to that. The curse to me heavy because it didn't work out, so they increased the curses. Sometimes you see like pizza and more. Some people are awake, and the more means more, like the inside more. That's big. Car accident there if we don't heal it. Intersections, I find somebody pulls out when they're not supposed to. I'm telling you. You only have the one crossroad. I think this is Babcock. Could be Babcock. Yeah, it's whole. Actually, this whole road here. I'm by the Northfield Garden Center. You have to. I'd go a mile each way, and maybe up under the hill a little bit on each side. North Rogers. I already had 2 spots. This one would have been a rear end. You know, you just want to set on your brake. Step on your brake if you can. Anytime with Babcock. Yeah, I think I saw Babcock need to be healed before. What's the 100? 3,400. So you want to go what? I don't know how wide your entrance. Everybody out in the yard. Ooh, good energy. How much energy? Yeah, there's a lot of guys on the side of the road. A guy with his kid walking. So it could be involving a pedestrian. It could be a sign of that. All right, so you want to go from 3 degree at Babcock where it starts, and then back down. Mr. Magic. Come from the Mr. Magic car wash. You live all the way down that road. Yeah, I don't know if there was many banks around here that I could. Kansas, I couldn't. All the banks that you have around here. I think my other bank, but then I'd have to transfer it into that account. So see, even though I drove the wrong, like just driving around aimlessly because I'm trying to figure out what to do. The Lord's steering me. And Lord being the Almighty God. I mean, a lot of people will cause the Lord to mean Jesus. No, He is a senior member of the divine cabinet on this planet, but He's not God. The Lord guided me. Should I receive some information? There's some crooks around here. It look like wealthy clerks because it says, and it says Marshall. Oh, it's Roderick and it's Marshall's over there. That's pretty funny. But it says the fifth. So anybody that usually if they claim the fifth, it's either political or they're organized crime or something. That's yeah, not inclination. It infers. No, it says there's a Marshall store, and then the road into it, like the road that leads into it, is Broderick. What if somebody knew? Somebody's named Gabe, aren't they? Wait a minute. McIntyre, Gabe. Oh, these are all cues for like fugitive operations. Do not enter. It's a Mad Max. Okay, something's coming up. Mad Max again. Make sure you wear your vests and use your bunkers, your body bunkers. All right, we heal bank robberies. Dollar Bank sent the clear queue. It says thank you, veterans. All right, heal it because we're trying to get a veteran to rob, or some veterans to rob a bank or rob banks. Well, it says thank you, veterans from the Dollar Bank, or from Toyota maybe, but but it can't. It's read a different way, like thank you, veterans. That's what it actually says. It doesn't say thank you, veterans. It says thank you, veterans. Oh, they heard me. So that's the deal. We have to heal that so the veterans aren't have their mind taken down and rob banks. The banks will send you cues from the future, but they don't use. A lot of times they can't read it, but their entity sends the cue to whoever can read it. That's why I receive a lot of stuff. They can read it. Okay, I'm not sure what I'm reading. One of the things you should do, or could do, a lot of times with banks is, and they may be doing that at the mall. I don't know who those people were, but whether they were there before the shooting or not. Like, so one of the things you do at banks is, and I used to do this like between the military and when I got the Federal Bureau of Prisons job, I was doing some security, and I worked at the operations center, or I guess that was the operations center for Continental Bank. But it was there was another. I didn't monitor the alarms. I was the point of contact, you know, for whenever I was on duty for any alarms and all the other stuff. But they would call me during the week and they would say, "Hey, can you go to this location? We think there could be, some trouble. Can you go there?" Then I'd go there. Or after there was trouble, they would say, "Can you go here?" And make them feel comfortable. There was a bank robbery today. So that's one of the things you can do is you can put, just have guards. Sometimes it's okay. It's I guess I don't know how it works, but roving guards that show up for a day. You don't have to. You can move them around the city, like kind of deal. But again, the best thing is to do a week here, a week there, kind of deal. Like, you never know when the guard's going to be there. If you don't want to fund permanent guards. But dogs are great. Dogs are great. I had a dog, and I believe I ordered a robbery because they stopped. They came in. They looked suspicious. Yeah, they were black while in the bank. I just think it was like Cheltenham, Pennsylvania, so it's normal. All right. So so I'm there, and they walk in, and it just something's up. So they go over, and they're spending time writing something, and I'm like, okay, it's two of them. So I went outside to my vehicle. I got my dog. I wasn't supposed to be working with my dog, but I said, this is we'll be ready, right? Or hopefully deter them. So when they get up to the counter, and this is where we thought there was going to be a robbery. That's why they put me there. They had intelligence that somebody was planning to rob that bank. And they get up to the counter and they say something stupid. I think it was like, "Do you have ATM accounts?" Of course, they have ATM accounts, right? And whatever they wrote on there, nobody ever saw. So it worked. It worked. Right? But the dog is the important one. Because even a lot of our security people in our banks are having, it's just not successful. They're still, being taken. Sometimes shot, sometimes, they don't have a gun, sometimes outdrawn, whatever it is. Right? So the dog is always a good, and I wasn't hired, like I wasn't paid to have the dog. I just took the dog to work with me. And he stayed in my, I had a Ram Charger back then. Dodge Ram Charger. So I took him I got in line like to the side of the teller, to the right. Actually, it was like an L in there, I think. Right, but the long L side. It's actually, that was one line. That was just the counter without tellers. That went completely around in an L. So I went in line with the tellers, faced the dog down that line, and then told him, I said plots, which means lay down. And he laid down, just looking. And then, that was it. That's all she wrote. They left the bank. So it does work. Right? Well, you have a thing around here that I haven't seen other places. It wants people to force sex. But what it's initially trying to do is cause a sexual connection with just like a stranger on the side. I mean, granted, they're very good-looking young ladies and they're very riskily dressed, but I've never seen that quite like that. Which I have to look up your sex crimes here and see what's going on, see if it is effective or not. No, you can notice in other communities, but it doesn't have this weird thing. Because what happens is I get the Reader's Digest condensed version. Like most people, they get that first part of whatever it is, and they like, oh, hey, sexy. But I get all the way through to where it's going to go, and not every instance, but enough that I'm wondering about it now. Right? So I see the end in the beginning, in that particular thing. They can heal that again. But people at Deep State don't want it healed because that their curses are those. It doesn't only affect me. I just have to see it. That's it. I found the one's children, so, but I still can't see it. It's like blurry and there's the bushes in the way. But it was lit up that night. So I gotta go back to the room and figure this out. So, like, if I'm looking at somebody, it doesn't mean that I'm, like, looking sexually at someone. It means I'm trying to figure that out, possibly with something else. I was a little nervous about looking at them because they're young girls, and I'm like, I'm at a traffic light. I'm like, oh, I hate that with this. I'm like, I'm trying to think, what am I seeing? I have to look at people to heal them sometimes. That's a byproduct of being a healer. Based on my history, I wasn't doing anything unseemly. I was honestly healing people. All right, let's get out of here. What kind of bugs are those? There's some weird looking. Oh, those little lantern bugs? I don't know. Or are those the stink bugs? Can't tell. It's only a matter of time before they're all out because it's warm. All right. It's only a matter of time before they're gone. All right, so go with this. Okay, and let me go with this is weird. Saying my bank is temporarily closed around there. So make sure this works right. Make sure I have the right location. I don't have any in that. I have Third Bank. It's not here either. All right, I'll have to work through AT.